Good evening, everybody, and wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to see you all. We've got about 30 seconds left, and then we will start. And I've got everything ready and loaded here, and we are waiting for awesome, awesome questions from all of you this evening. Welcome, Desi.
How do you do?
Fine, thanks, and you, Professor?
How's it going?
Excellent, excellent, thank you. Nice, very, very nice. All good, and re-energizing, rebooting, recharging people, and hopefully humanity. I've got humanity on my grid here, and I'm comparing it to when we ran it last year as well. It's quite interesting to see some of the risk factor shifts and things. I'll talk about that after you. Oh. And today we're looking very forward to your presentation on afterlife, and continuing with our theme on reincarnation, and giving us evidence from an immune perspective, immune university perspective, and a quantum perspective, and also having a look at our famous thing about resisting change, and what is it with humans that we just want to resist change and resist the flow instead of just be that leaf that just flows down the river. So we look forward to you shedding beautiful light and answering a lot of our questions this evening. Thank you very much for being with us. It's an honor and a privilege. Thanks, Desi, and good evening, Rita.
Rita's not here right now.
She's
in the city. So it's just me for the evening. So now, what I've been working on is very thoroughly trying to put together a new course curriculum based on the ideas that most people in the world believe that there is life after death, that the soul continues. Most people believe that. More than half of the people of the world religiously believe in reincarnation as an absolute. Okay? So it's very interesting. We can't throw this out. And now here comes along science, and science has now proven beyond a shadow of doubt there is a factor of reincarnation. There is something there. Cases have been shown that show that. Now, if we're inside this course that I put together, we talk about the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and we talk about the Tibetan ideas and the Hindu and the other different things, that there is a soul that continues on. And that after you die, there's a period of time where you spend a short period of time wandering. You're not quite sure you're dead yet. For some people it's hours, minutes, others it might be days, and certain people it might be years, centuries before they figure it out. That can happen. So for most people, all of a sudden, they spend a little bit of time there, and they start to maneuver around. And then they are faced with their own fears, desires, and what they call the peaceful deities, the wrathful deities. And these are basically self-made things getting you to let go of attachment. And until you start you fight these forces. And the Tibetans believe that this is a 49-day process. And during these 49 days, you're met with the most horrific demons you can imagine, because it is coming from you. You are making this. And you are then dealing with it, trying to let go of the desires and let go, and starting to recognize this too shall pass, and this too has passed. And it just doesn't matter. And you let go. And most people start to let go. And then they say, well, then you go on, you can either go on, if you're spiritually together, you can go on to nirvana. You escape the wheel of desire. Certain people choose then to come back, they come back as and if you have conquered your feelings and let go of your attachments, then coming back, you're not going to have very many memories. You've let go. So most of what happens, according to the Buddhist, according to the Hindu, most people who have these reincarnations won't really remember them. They might have little shadows. They might like this flavor more than another flavor. They might like this style of clothing more than another style. But the subtle things. Now, the cases of reincarnation where people have very vivid memories all seem to be tied to some younger person who died meaninglessly, was either killed or had some type of a meaningless death. The energy of that, the energy of being killed, the energy of that creates in them a hold. And then when they come back in a reincarnation form, they remember. We've showed you some videos about this, about this little boy who thought he had a memory of, being a pilot and was shot down. We have all those different stories which I've captured in the course because Rita, I'm working.
Are you there, Desi?
I'm here.
Okay, perfect.
I had to tell Rita I'm working.
Okay.
So, very interesting. And now, to put it in the context with our machine, I've made the first video, which we can play now. And that video will, and then I'll take questions, and then I'll show you how you can use your machine, okay, to let people remember past lives.
Wonderful. Thank you. Let me play it.
Let's play the first video.
Okay.
Welcome to our course on the afterlife, spirits, reincarnation. Most of the people of the world will believe in a life after death, that there's some type of spirit, soul in the body that survives and that goes other places, does other things, out of body experience, all these different things, and reincarnation. In fact, most of the people of the world, more than half, as a religion, believe in a reincarnation. Religiously, they believe that there are doors after doors after doors. We're going to be offering you some proof positive of this. We're going to be showing you different ideas that when it comes to reincarnation, there is scientific evidence behind it. And now we must open our mind to a new type of idea. But we must recognize that when it comes to reincarnation, that we're going to find that most of the stories are coming from people who had violent or unnatural deaths. Now think of it now. Most people who reincarnate, they come to some peace, and they don't really transmit the ideas, the memories, so they're not so clear. The clarity of memory seems to come from the ones that were killed and killed violently. So that's oftentimes the stories that are being told. But there's other stories. The Tibetan Book of the Dead will tell us how everybody that will die has 49 days of walking, and they go through the peaceful deities, and then they meet the wrathful deities, all visions and identities of their own mind. We encounter our own demons, and our own demons are trying to either tempt us or trying to get us to release attachments so that we can make the transition more easy. Maybe even be able to see the point of copulation in our new life. So these things happen, and we have an entire course devoted to analyzing all of these different things in detail. Different types of bardo prayers to be used for people after they're dying, and also confidential past life regression therapies. Yes, regression therapies that you can use to help to tap into that past life. Now, as you are doing this, you might find that you're a warrior. You might find that you have information that you're a pauper. You might be a prince, a banker, poet, or king. Who knows? As these things are hitting you, they're kind of like movies. You see a story, okay? You don't have to get caught up into the story. You have to recognize these are like movies. Let them come and let them flow. And we're going to be using our machine to help us to find out. So we don't get too clingy, but enjoy the movie, get the message. As we go into our device, we're going to see here on the main page that if we go to programs, we're going to go down to the aging. Now there's a whole system of analysis here for what to do for anti-aging and all these things. But in order to get to the past lives, you're going to go down and look for the atom here. Double click on the atom a couple of times and up will come the button for the past life. As you go into the past life program, you can type in a conflict, a concern, if there's a concern, some issue that you want to explore. Then what you do, it takes information, relax, release the negativity, and the machine is going to start processing questions. The machine is going to start to process questions. It'll be asking questions like which millennia, which century, which decade, which year, and then they're asking questions about you, and then it measures your electronic reaction to these questions. So if you react more to one decade versus another, or more than one millennia than another, it will pick out your reactions of what you do, unconscious reactivity. The unconscious reactivity will then come down, and you'll be able to see the results. Now, recognize that sometimes you might blink at the wrong time, different energies. Take this with a grain of salt and play with it. Have fun. But after you get through, the QXED is working through the panel. Here's the initial panel, you see, and you find out what type of reactions, you see, what sex, what consonant, and it just gives you an idea. These are reaction profiles, what you reacted to. You actually even, I want you to choose letters, maybe you'll pick a name. It's hard to tell exactly, but recognize that this is something that is meant to draw out an introspection, so that you look at yourself, look at your mind, and recognize that deep inside you, things will come out. Your unconscious will bring things out. Now maybe it will release some type of a violent death, or maybe it'll have something more sexual. Who knows? All of these things can come out, and let them flow. Don't cling to them. Make them like movies, like this is a movie you're watching. Recognize it doesn't have to be too real, but it is insightful. Does it help you to make new insights into your life? So as you go through the course and you start to look at different perspectives, we have a new type of biology that will come out of it, where we start to understand spiritual possession as part of the spectrum of mental disease. We have to understand much more about the expansive nature of the soul and the body, and not have such a materialistic idea. We need to expand our minds into medicine.
Ta-da!
We're here.
Howdy.
Lots of food for thought there, Desi.
Cool. Now here, I'm about to send you the actual course.
Perfect.
This is the playlist of the course. But then I have a second movie to watch, and I guess we can watch that right now.
Okay, I'm just getting it.
So let's watch the second movie, then I'll
All
talk
right.
about.
All right, one moment. I'm just fetching it. Just loading. There we go. You ready?
The basic key to Buddhism is the idea that nothing is permanent.
Excess clinging to anything will produce suffering.
Everything's changing. Everything's in a state of flux because
Nothing is permanent.
everything's maneuvering through growth.
Nothing we have, no one in our lives, no state of mind is exempt from change. Nothing at all can prevent the universal process of birth, growth, decay, and death.
All things change. Most changes are surprises from karma, bardo, challenges, lessons, and even chance. Go with the flow as best you can and choose wisely when you want to swim against the flow.
Change is never painful, only resistance to change is painful, said Buddha.
Very true.
True.
The basic principle of the universe, of all existence, is change. Things happen, things change.
If you get comfortable with the fact that everything is changing and the only guarantee in life is the constant change, you will have no suffering.
But as we see, the planets have changed. Things move, things have cycled. Evolution, growth,
History,
development,
nations,
change.
spirituality.
And then when life came onto the planet, change, more change, different types of life.
Energies change, chemistry, dynamics.
Every bit of life clinging. The dinosaurs came there, and then all of a sudden,
Boom!
the dinosaurs were gone. Change. The basic principles of change.
All what matters is what happens to you today.
And here came along the early man. Change, growth, intellect, change,
Culture,
fire, society, and then
beliefs, systematic
development,
changes,
family,
nations,
hatred. Hatred come along,
War.
anger, greed, delusion, power,
control,
to the point of extreme.
war, crisis, death.
And you see the turmoil, where they think what matters is greed and anger and power.
And
but
destroying
actually,
everything. People,
technology,
profit over people.
but all of this fades. Here we see the development of empires over thousands and thousands of years. All the different empires, the Chinese, the Mongol, the Roman, the Greek, the Egyptian, they all change, they come, they go, all the different empires. And nothing lasts forever. Everything changes. But what is the oldest civilization known to man? Civilization.
It would seem to me like Mesopotamia,
Africa,
Sumeria.
something like that. No, the oldest known civilization is Aborigine.
The oldest civilization in the world is the 80,000-year-old Aborigine of Australia, who are some places still aware and available in the original form.
The Aborigine talk about a dream time, a dream culture. They get information from the dreams. They believe that their society, their civilization was started in a dream, an alien dream.
That means that they were highly related to nature and organic.
But this dream culture is very, very incredible. And yet it's the oldest civilization, and it exists in its still original form. But still, nothing is permanent. Nothing lasts forever.
The three poisons of life we all need to conquer are greed, hatred, and delusion.
But there are three intoxicants that cloud the mind and that make attachment causing suffering. Delusions of ego and pride. The first is the pride of youth, thinking that you're going to live and look like this forever and trying to find that youth.
Selfishness, shallowness.
Now here's a man who took his picture every day for 20 years. You're going to see, no matter what,
Time
age is
changes.
going to happen. Things change. Everything changes. Your body will change. And you will grow old.
And nothing can stop that. Charles Darwin had a great theory that those who are responsive to change are going to succeed rather than those who are the strongest.
If you can respond and adapt to change, you can develop better. That was the basic idea. And in Buddhism, we have to start to realize all things change. We cannot attach ourselves to youth. We have to recognize we will grow old.
The Buddhism
We will die.
teaches us to be selfless.
And we have to recognize that as we go through life, there's another attachment, and that's the attachment of pride in health and well-being. Thinking that just when you get into middle age, you're healthy and you're well-being, and you're going to stay that way. Well, I'm sorry. All things change, and even that pride in health and well-being will change. You will still grow old. You will get sick now and then.
And you cannot stop your biological clock. Your biological clock is ticking.
You should adapt and love it. And the third, intoxicant. The pride of life, craving attention, position, authority, identity,
Appreciation.
That businessman who's clinging to these things, the ego, craving, impermanence. But don't cling.
If it doesn't matter in 5 years, it just doesn't matter.
If it doesn't matter in 5 million years, it really doesn't matter. You see,
nothing is permanent.
Excess clinging to anything will produce suffering. All things change is the basic principle of life.
Change is never painful. Only resistance to change is painful, said Buddha.
This is Desi.
And Rita.
And we hope that we gave you a good lesson for life.
Enjoy.
You talked about resistance to change. That's the basic principle of the Buddhas, of the Buddha. The first thing he recognized, all things change. Nothing is permanent. Everything is impermanent. So
our resistance to the change is blocked by the greed, the hatred, the delusion. Is that correct? That we're stuck in it.
Ego, we get caught into an ego form of thinking, thinking that our ego is going to be permanent, and it's not. We get caught into attachments, greed, anger, and delusion. We start thinking that we're not going to change. And these things, and basically, what type of people are you talking about resistant to change? People resistant to our ideas of medicine?
That everyday people resisting the truth, people resisting that we need to move on as humanity. You know, I pick up on the device so much. So it's the same with all the practitioners. We pick up greed, hatred, and delusion so often. And we pick up also resistance to change so often, and we pick up fear and anxiety, and you know, lack of courage.
Well, I know, and people can get they get sick because they're not exercising. Then they're resistant to change. They're resistant to exercising. They get sick because they're eating the wrong foods, and they get low-grade addiction to those. And yeah, so it's trying to find a way. When you say truth, it kind of comes out a little bit strong, because what's true? Who knows? What the bottom line is, we're told that our bodies are made of atoms.
Yeah.
10 to the 25 atoms, 25 zeros. Nobody's even really seen an atom. Then there's electrons. Our bodies are made of electrons. Nobody has a picture of an electron. They have kind of a quasi picture. And with all this, who could say what's true, you know? So I think that what we say is that we believe in a natural living entity. We believe in a nature where plants and animals can reproduce and metabolize on their own. You know, so they have a natural life force. And we believe that that life force is a nutrient. It's a nutrient. And that nutrient is not in the synthetic chemical companies. So we have this belief structure. And I believe that from looking at what's true in my world, is that I can see that all of these synthetics generate side effects to a vast degree. The chemical companies do not test for the side effects. They only test for the efficacy. With these new vaccines, they have not tested. We won't know the side effects from these vaccines for at least another 10 years. And now we're all put into a box. If anybody wants to hop on an airplane, you got to get a vaccine. So we've put this thing where the chemical companies are now pretty much in charge. And there's nobody really looking at everything they do. There's nobody managing the chemical companies. They're managed by greed. That's the profit. If any part of the company starts not producing money, that part is shut down because it's driven by greed. The vaccine companies, quote, chemical companies, they're not driven by who they're going to help tomorrow. They have to answer to their investors, and they have to be able to make a statement once or twice a year, and there's proxies, and here's how much money we made. Hey, oh, we didn't make so much this year. Oh, I won't invest in you. I'll invest. So that's where we got this whole thing backwards. In the beginning, we bartered. Human beings bartered. We didn't even have money.
Yeah.
Everybody bartered. You got a couple of sheep. I'm tired of eating sheep, so I'll wait for your chicken so I can have some chicken and you can have some sheep. And we bartered and we interacted. And then we started developing money, and then money got into this incredible thing, this God, that everybody's made money to, and now I come along and I talk about karma pay. What's what people pay, some of their therapy in karma. What does that mean? What are you talking about? And I say, because we need a new form of currency. We need to be able to recognize that what's really valuable isn't money. That if you die, we're talking about life after death, all that money's gone. The day you die, you had nothing. You had no money.
We need to establish a karma wallet.
Exactly. Well,
and that enriches our soul.
Exactly.
That soul enrichment.
We need to start valuing the most important thing, which is let's call it karma. And how many good things have you done versus how many bad things have you done?
Yeah. And if the soul continues, and and what I've also learned from the IMUNE course is that being electromagnetic beings, we need to follow what we suggest on these live lectures that we give, because in order to keep charging our battery, it's about the life force, it's about the neg entropy, and it's about doing all those things that feed our battery. And if we're doing that, we're able to think clearly and live productively and get on with things, and it's much easier to shift and change then, because if your charge is weak and you're down and you're in delusion, it's quite difficult to just stand up and shift. But if you're really on a higher vibration but a really good charge, much easier to shift.
Well, the thing that is most harmful, I've been actually putting a lot of thought into this. I think that the most harmful substances in the world today, because all of the hormones that make our brain operate effectively are made in the gut. The serotonin, the GABA, these are the hormones that help us to reduce stress, happiness hormones, and the serotonin. We have all different types of hormones, thousands of them, made in our intestine. Sugar destroys these things, and the thing that destroys them most is the chemicals.
Yeah.
This chemical sugar, this zero Coke. And yet people are thinking that's a health food. Oh, I'm not going to have calories. I'm going to have a zero Coke. What the? And I believe that this is really making people's thought processes turn upside down.
Definitely. And the food additives, we don't even know what we're even consuming. Only when we look on the quantum device do we actually see, when we show people.
Yeah, I know. It's incredible. So what
And
we're
with
looking
the wrong magnetic spin and the wrong balance between left and right, and it's no wonder the mental hospitals are overflowing.
I need a quick toilet break.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna carry on talking then, because I think this is the key and the critical thing that everyone is listening here. I know we're preaching to the converted. We're electromagnetic beings first, and then comes the chemistry, the alchemy, the ions, the calcium, magnesium, potassium, etc., and then comes the biology. And that's about 1% of us. So everybody's focused on the biology, but actually you could line my table with products and things like that. If we are not getting, firstly, the electromagnetic charge right, and charging the battery, raising the voltage, and then the amperage and all the other electromagnetic parameters, including hydration, including oxygenation and pH, we're missing the point here. And this is the most
overhydrated. I was overhydrated.
Okay, so we got to get back to these basics, the electromagnetics, the chemicals aspect of us, and then focus on the biology. And if we're getting that right, it's much easier, and you have less neurological, emotional, and spiritual problems. If you understand what we're doing with the quantum device and quantum medicine, it's the new medicine that really focuses on proper holism.
Exactly. So that's why I spent the last couple of weeks on this afterlife course, really trying to get really deep into this and make a couple of guided imagery, past life, hypnosis videos, and videos for people if they die, the Bardo energy, to be able to help, with the Tibetan Book of the Dead, for people to understand. And I put this together on this course here because I think that this is another factor. As we get our people to learn more and more and take the immune courses, start to see, oh my God, the chemical companies, the modern medicine is really antiquated. They don't even know what the word quantum means, and yet here we are, quantum beings, and we're not computers, we're not binary computers. We're operating at a quantum trinary way at all this stuff. So this is all coming together. So
and what's really beautiful also is that we are in the morphogenic field, we're in the quantum field, and when we come in onto the device, it's all potentiated. It's created for us to heal. It's a potentiated field when we're linked up with a therapist on our devices. So that's what's leading us to more spontaneous and quicker healing. And it's all guided. It's in the morphogenic field. The subconscious is guiding us. So it's completely controlled, validated, verified, measured. You can show people before and afterwards. And there are not many devices that work beyond one channel. And we're dealing with something like 52 channels, if I'm correct, Desi.
More than that now.
More than we can measure. I mean, things are happening in the consultation that are not, it's not even on the screen. So it's so vast, interdimensional and things. So it's an honor actually to be able to, and thank you, Desi, again for bringing this to humanity, because it's just a real honor to be able to be working like this and finding out so many things. And wow, it's pioneering work, and we need to do what we can bring this quantum medicine to the fore now, right now, especially now.
So I just sent you a new video. It's 3 minutes,
Okay.
21 seconds. Let's watch that now.
All right. I've just posted the course, by the way.
Yeah, people could see the, more about it, get to the evidence.
Is the course online, or how do we pay, or how do we do it, Desi?
That will be through the immune structure. I don't mind anybody taking the course, but if you want the certificate of taking the course, then you have to pay. If you watch the videos, you have got to pay me in karma. I'm going to get you the karma. What I do isn't free. You can pay me in karma. But if you want a certificate, you can't pay for the certificate in karma. Okay? But anyway, let's watch this video.
Okay.
As Carl Sagan says, extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence. We agree. And if you really want to see the research evidence approved by the TUV, click on the dolphins next to my picture here, next to Carl Sagan's picture here. You see, alternative therapists, we must learn to think about sales claims and think about validation. Stories are not studies. Stories are not verification. Testimonials are not verification. We need to do double-blind medical ethical studies, done correctly to the letter of the law. We must be able to substantiate, validate, and verify the claims. If you have no studies and no validation, it's fraud to sell unverified, unvalidated devices, because that's the law, validation, verification. And our device has been registered, validated, and verified for over 25 years. As you look through the brochure, if you click on the dolphins, you'll be able to see the expansive research. In medicine, ECG, EEG, EMG, GSR, these are all used. And then for treatment, electro-wound healing, TENS, CES, these are used. Why not put these all into a loop where we can measure, then treat? This is what we've been able to do. In order to do this, we've done a series of extensive research, developing into an extreme meta-analysis of probably the largest amount of research ever done. Validated, verified, FDA registered since 1989. CE registered, registration of the medical claims as a medical device, not just safety, but beyond that. You see, electroceuticals, being able to measure the reaction of people to different items. And electroceuticals, they are safe. We've developed them through a patented process of over 25 years of research and validation. The electronic tongue, the QQC electronic tongue, has been able to do this. Fully CE marked, validated, and verified. And then we have the cybermagnetic chair to send magnetic energy into the body, and then look at the magnetic energy coming out through a cybernetic loop to autofocus and be able to auto-adjust, sending this information in and out. And yet, it is well, fully CE marked, registered, licensed for use. And the claims of the adductor, the medical claims established in a TUV reviewed and accepted document to show that these things are part of the claims that we can make. You see, we can do these things in the medical system, legal for sale, legal for use. All of these different claims, validated, verified, substantiated. So I hope that you can read more as you go through this brochure and see more about the new wave of medicine. And join the new wave of medicine. And if you want to know more about the intimate research and validation, just click on the dolphins. It will take you through an extensive, long process of learning and understanding.
Yep, we need to validate and verify the things that we do.
It's extremely important because we are in the age of objectivity and no longer subjectivity, where it's a belief. And
so, we have to do the best we can to validate and verify, and basically recognize that a lot of people out there make no attempt. A lot of people in alternative medicine, they make no attempt to validate and verify.
I had a lady today who went for stem cell treatment. they took her fat cells out and did something and put them back in and everything. And I said to her, she was asking me if it worked. I said to her, well, I don't know. Did you go in like a sheep and just accept and pay all your money and everything, or did you ask up front, show me my baseline, and then confirm with me you're going to show me my shift afterwards, show me existing people who've come in, their baseline was this and you shifted them to that. She didn't.
No,
she didn't do that. Just went in and paid.
I know. They make us jump through hoops and other people don't.
And the more packaged and the more fancy and the more patented, the more people pay.
Well, it's marketing, you know. It's all about marketing.
It's also about discernment and also self-empowerment, and not just, believing every single thing you hear and see and read.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation. I look at like my YouTube channel, and I have 25 people watch the video. Yeah. And then I look at some young girl, bouncing a basketball, and there's 2 million views.
That's insane. Absolutely insane. But just getting back to what you shared with us on reincarnation, and the soul continues, and science has proved all of this, and us letting go of attachment. We can't get bogged down in the girl bouncing the ball. We need to be really streets ahead and really focused, laser beam strike focused on where we're going as individuals. What you're sharing with us also about, the bardos and releasing attachment. I look very forward to doing this course, Desi, that you've put on. I've actually loaded it onto the chat. I hope you've all seen it. But I really look forward to that, because I just believe the more work I can do in a conscious earthly state, the better it's going to be on the other side, and as my soul continues. So I see that continuum and want to keep working at it. So thanks for sharing all of this. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how a human being can actually pretend that death is not going to happen, and just actually think about it. There's inside the course, there's a 6.5-hour treatise it's a variation of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And the the first speaker is John Cleese. It's very, very nice. And it's meant to be played when somebody dies, but you should listen to it before you die. And then you start to realize that, yeah, there is something that's going to transform. And when you realize that, then you realize that everything is impermanent. Then there's no reason for us to be so attached to money that we will destroy the planet so that we could buy a pair of shoes.
Mm.
When you look at some of the rich people, and sometimes they'll buy a pair of shoes for $1 million. And interesting, but and I say to myself, how many of those people are people who bought those shoes and spent no time thinking about the rest of the planet? And how many people are involved in the oil industry, destroying our climate, and yet want to buy, $1 million pair of shoes or car, or whatever, or house, and we've just let this whole thing take off. And the human in development just never ever thought that there would be that much money in such a small group of hands.
That's right.
So we never really thought, the whole world didn't really think of it. None of the governments of the world ever really sat down and said, what if one person becomes richer than our country? What if the one person in Lithuania actually is so rich that he has more money than Lithuania does. And then what do we do? Well, that's what happened with John Rockefeller, and they had to make monopoly laws to stop him. We had to make new laws, and then they just found new ways. Bill Gates faced monopoly laws just a couple of years ago, got through it. But we don't really say to ourselves, when you make that kind of money, you should be paying 10% flat tax. No, those are the people who pay no tax. Those really, really rich people are the people who pay no tax.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have one of the big horror stories is 1 year, $6 trillion went missing out of the Pentagon. The day before 9/11, there was $2.5 trillion unaccounted for.
Right.
Today, it's close to over $35 trillion, completely unaccounted for. No idea where it went. Missing out of the Pentagon over the last 20 years or so. And that's so much money. You take it out of the system, and now it's not flowing around. It's not being reinvested. It's not being taxed, etc. And we had this whole system where we never really thought, what are we going to do about the greedy, greedy, greedy people? Which I label the evil ultra rich. So just another thing that I do.
Yeah, 100%. And
whole other course.
if you think about the future and the future personalities and take your mind into the future a bit, cast your attention there. Even more so, we need to be doing the good deeds now and building up our karma wallets and building up the integrity of our soul. Imagine the future life of these people.
Yeah, we have to have a different way of looking at money and start recognizing what's really of value is peace of mind, health, sharing, caring,
compassion.
And these are the things that are more valuable than money. And we have people who are just taking massive sums of money out of our government, etc. That weird world. All I can do is I just make more and more videos.
More and more educational videos, and we love them all.
Well, everybody seems to love my videos. If you ever watch the course on the evil ultra rich, it's amazing to see how much money is being stolen, how they don't care, and what they do, and the driving force. A psychopath is somebody who just doesn't care about others. Well, every corporation is a psychopath because the corporation, by definition, only cares about its bottom line. It only cares about presenting its a quarterly report, and that's it. There's no room for anything else. And yet, so we have these very rich corporations, and then if any corporation should start to be more humanistic, that's sign of weakness. Other corporations step in and take them over. So we have a back-ass system, and we've lost touch with our simple humanity. So one day maybe something will happen. I hope so.
Yeah, well, we've got to plot our own courses and follow them using all this information that we have and the universal information and our connection. And it's not about sitting in other people's courses and reading and going to course after course after course and reading book after book. We're all in the same classroom. We need to connect with the universal morphogenic field because the answers are there.
Well, we can find a way. And I don't know. I've been doing this for such a long time, and I just always thought that one day the attention of the world would turn to the man who left America to find freedom, who's no longer a man.
We're with you.
Well,
we're definitely with you.
isn't that a fantastic story?
Yeah.
Isn't that just like something that somebody should be making a movie about? And you look at my life and it's so bad, but yet more and more people are like having to look away from me. So I don't know, maybe I'll be the one here. Any questions about what's going on? So
Drew is writing some questions there and asking you if you remember Kojak.
The TV show.
Yeah.
Who loves you, baby?
He's put the YouTube video on there. Thanks, Drew. And also asking you, I don't know if you can read there, but day 24, continuing coconut fast, may just fast for 40. Heard fasting increases and accelerates natural stem cell production. Any tips to share in this regard? So it's about stem cells and fasting.
Continuing coconut water fast, good. No comment there. It will help the development of proper stem cells, yes. You remember Kojak.
So there's certain plants that also activate and stimulate the formation of adult stem cells, and there's 5 major ones. It's royal jelly, blue-green algae, lion's mane, cordyceps, those are medicinal mushrooms, and foti, which is an adaptogenic herb. So those are the 5 researched top plant-based foods that stimulate adult stem cells, which I've used quite successfully and measured it on the quantum device as well.
Yeah.
So the quantum device will build them.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to take plant-based foods, I've actually got an activist stem cell product with those 5 in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also useful. I think putting someone else's DNA inside you is just, I don't know, that's just insane.
Well,
I'm not going to do that.
Technically, stem cells shouldn't have somebody else's DNA. But what they're doing, I don't trust. I don't trust what they're doing.
One lady came to me and she had frog stem cells injected into her.
Nah, I don't.
Oh, come on. I mean, why would you do that? It's just not good.
Well, if somebody were to research, but I wouldn't let that happen unless I read a lot of research.
Me too.
Somebody else's thing on it. Okay, well, I'm kind of tired today.
Right.
I had to do the seminar with Bill and then
good.
This.
Thank you, Desi. And I'm glad to hear you a lot better and, got over everything that was bothering you last week. So well done on that.
I was really out of it last week. I'm sorry. Something hit me, etc. Okay, I got to run.
Right to everybody. And then I did put you go, Desi. I'm going to finish off. Thank you again. Thank you very, very much. I put the iamflix.com website on there where you go, and it's $14 a month when I last looked, and you pay by PayPal, and then you can go in and you can literally do the doctorate course. If you want to graduate, you're going to then have to pay for it and your mentor. Similarly, the diploma course, and those people who are wanting to do it and get started, just start. We can always fix up the payment. And through my site also, you can do payment terms for the immune diploma. And it's just a mind-bending, mind-enhancing, soul-enhancing experience to do this. When you go through the information that Desi has shared, it's incredible. Many of the books, the anatomy books and things, she's actually rewritten. So those of you who want to be on the curve of the new paradigm and get there, be part of the quantum medicine space, that's really, one needs to do that. And then obviously, to graduate and get your license and everything. So go and have a look. And, you know, there's many ways to register. My website, which I put on there, is one of the ways. And, yeah, all I can do is speak from experience. It's a real rejuvenating and opportunity to get into and start understanding the infinity, morphogenic field, the universal field, quantum dynamics, and where we really came from, our existence. So if you're interested in all of that and want to keep yourself off the streets and stop watching all these funny videos that come through and who did it and who didn't do it, and you know, all the weird and wonderful concoctions that they're suggesting that are going to fix all of this, which are, most of them are total distractions. The very people who've got the cures are sitting in jail right now and have been in jail for well over 10 months. So just saying, let's keep ourselves not on the distracted space, but going forward. I absolutely love working with Desi on this show and bringing all this information to all of you. And it's just such an honor also to have all of you join us as well. And I know there are many people that watch afterwards as well. So I'll be posting this one. And then people who want to watch the Jane Live, which we have on a Thursday at the same time, please join us. We're running through the detoxification of the organs and the blood. Tomorrow we're going to do the lungs. And if you've missed any of them, on my YouTube, you will get the recordings there as well. And also not only, you know, about the detox organ, but also how we use the quantum device and food state nutrients full of life force to heal. Okay, so go well, everybody. And if anyone needs to contact me, it's just get hold of me or Desi or Rita, and it'll be our privilege to speak to you. Any last questions? Otherwise, we're going to call it a day. And thank you all too. Okay, bye.